Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host Matt Marrero along with the other host.
A cat.
A cat. Oh wow, I hear her. I hope everyone else does too. It's Patches. Say hi, Patchy.
Hello.
That's not Patchy's voice. I've heard Patchy's voice.
Is.
That's Tristan.
You.
That's Tristan imitating Patchy's voice.
This is my voice collar. It's broken. I have to get it fixed.
Please tell me you've seen that episode of Rick and Morty.
Yes.
Where are my testicles summer?
Where are my testicles summer?
Damn it, we both. All right. No, but this is how we start this one off. All right.
Honestly,
anyway,
how is that future any different from what we just witnessed?
I mean, pretty much.
Dog uprising, basically.
Yeah, no, pretty much. That's just this future. So basically, if you are listening to this, then you've already heard the countdown. This is coming out at midnight on the 1st of January, New Year's. Now, don't worry. By the way, we have recorded this in advance, so we're good. We're not here right now recording this. We're off somewhere else, just doing something else. Yeah, no, I'm trying to make it be like, no, we're having fun elsewhere. No, probably not though. But if you are listening to this, you're clearly having fun, right, Tristan? If they're here listening to this at this hour live, because of course, even though it's pre-recorded, we're putting it out live. Still, you guys are having fun, so that's good for you.
Hopefully, I'll be passed out.
Yeah, hopefully you'll be passed out. I might, depending on how much I've had to drink. I might be passed out. But what are we talking about? What are we talking about today,
We're
Tristan?
talking about Black Mirror. Specifically, I believe it's Season 2, White Christmas.
It says Season 2 on Netflix. It was technically a Christmas special, so it was devoid of any kind of labeling when it came out in the UK. But here's the thing, though.
Devoid of many things, Matt.
Oh, God, yeah,
Hence
joy.
the term White Christmas.
Exactly. So here's the interesting thing about this one. So before the series was picked up by Netflix, many of these episodes were available around online, and I'm not advocating for piracy, but there was no legal way to get these in the U.S. before Netflix had picked them up. However, White Christmas was one that I was never able to find anywhere, even on something like YouTube, before YouTube was very good at removing copyrighted stuff from its just page, from its website. For a second there, I was like, what's the right word? Website, man. So I couldn't find this episode anywhere, so I was actually seeing this one for the first time. So I had no, because usually the other episodes that we've talked about, you and I, like you hadn't seen them, and I had, and it was kind of funny in some ways, seeing your reaction. Not completely, but in some ways it was funny. This one, never seen in my life. So I also was experiencing the same things you were for the first time.
Right.
So this wasn't one of those, like, let me see what Tristan's going to say about it. No, I also felt the same pain.
Matt is also dead inside.
Kind of. Yeah, I mean, this was
we were talking about the show.
Oh, yeah, of course, in relation to the show. No, but seriously, though, we're talking about this Christmas special. We skipped Season 2 because you and I was going to try to get you to do Season 2 with me, but we just got super busy and super depressed. Not about the show, but in general, it was just, it's been so busy.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, right? No, it's usually, well, the thing is, it's one of those things where, like, around this time of the year, you and I, and many people, of course, out there, get so busy just doing other things, having other family obligations. I mean, in some cases, it's just like, oh, I have to travel to, this family member's house, and then I also have to be there later on. Like, this little in-between, between Christmas and New Year's, I never really know what to do.
Right.
Like, even if you have steady employment, it's just like, all right, well, I'm off for Christmas Day, maybe Christmas Eve, and then unless you work in a school, it's like I'm back at work the next day. So no matter what, it's just such an odd part of the year. So it was, so it was just really hard to get you on to do season 2. So I thought, you know what, let's skip to this Christmas special. But then we got so busy around this time of year, just in general, that we couldn't do this for Christmas. So I thought, you know what, this is a great way to quote unquote end the year, but also start the year, just with this. Yeah, with this. Now here's the interesting thing.
God.
By the time this is out, there was actually a Black Mirror special that I have not seen yet because it's not out. It's not out yet as of this recording. A Black Mirror special that's aired on Netflix that we may cover. I may cover personally. Because I can't get you to help me with this. And here's why. It's going to be a live special. It's going to be like a choose your own adventure.
What? Oh,
yes.
Oh no.
It's on the 28th.
No. Oh dear God.
Yeah, it's set in the 80s around game development.
My morbid curiosity has now kicked in. I must do this.
Yeah, at least you must look at it. I'm going to try to see if we can somehow cover it in some way or another. If we did, awesome. If we didn't, fuck. Because I don't know how we could potentially cover it, without showing off scenes from it, which would be copyright infringement. So I don't know how that will work, but I'm very interested in taking a look at it because all I could think of immediately was Shin Megami Tensei, or just generally Megami Tensei, and I was like, not in a school, but I'm curious. Losing sense of reality? Game development? Digital shit? In the 80s? At least it seemed like it was in the 80s, not too sure. But point, though, is, getting back to what we're talking about here, this very white Christmas, this special, I think, I might have enjoyed it almost. It would have been almost my favorite. It was literally peaking at one point. I was like, this might be my favorite Black Mirror episode that we've talked about thus far. But then it did something.
I think me too.
Yeah, but then it did something that I was like, I don't know. And I have to look up the person who wrote this and see if it's the same person that wrote some other episodes. Because there's a certain kind of repetition here that I'm not the biggest fan of. And I think you might pick up on it. Because remember, I've also seen this twice now. So that's why I'm like, even though I will admit, I think that after seeing it twice, there's some more gray area than I thought of the first time. But the same repetition, right? What am I talking about here, Tristan? Well, the idea that, this guy sucks and he's the worst and he's so bad, but look at what that woman did. And it's kind of just like, yeah, but he's still an abusive prick, though. And I feel like it's odd that, and this has happened before in Black Mirror, of course, similarly with similar technology, funnily enough, which is why it feels like it's a reusing of a certain plot point for it. The idea that, you remember which one, of course, we're talking about here. The one, I can't remember the exact name of the episode. I'll look it up as we're talking about it. But
Your Entire History.
Thank you, Your Entire History, where, it's like, even though I will admit this guy was more abusive than the other guy, still, the idea that, he's abusive, but she cheated on him. So it's like, I should care. And I'm not saying that it's a pass. But at the same time, it's like, I don't, of course, it's like he didn't kill her. So, of course, it's like, because obviously if he killed her, it's like, well, we obviously know which one to fucking point the finger at here. So it was kind of a thing where it's like, they killed her a different way so that it could be like, well, let's not have the two of them. Your cat's purring very loudly, Tristan. No, but it's your phone. Which, of course, I think it's just it's your phone. It's your phone basically trying to be like, you will stop talking about your future overlords in such a fashion.
Pretty much. Basically, the phone is going off, alerting Skynet that we know too much and that we must be put down immediately.
Well, that last one wasn't menacing during your fucking joking. All right. Anyway, so. But seriously,
that was funny joke, Matt. Please continue while we continue, lock on. I mean, send you your Amazon gift card.
Jesus Christ. So, here's the thing, right? I feel as if, them killing her off in that way was, even though I think it was a great reveal, don't get me wrong, and a great twist, Like, even though I feel like it was 2 twists too many right next to each other,
Yeah.
still
Right.
though, I don't think it was a bad twist to have it be like, wait a minute, that's not my daughter. And it's like,
Right,
oh, God.
yeah.
Because the second she was Asian, I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
It's like,
although,
that's
what?
the funny part. It's like, normally there would be nothing wrong with that. But it's that horrifying realization you've been watching this kid for how many years now? It's not your daughter, bro.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. Now, I was confused the
it's
first
your buddies.
time. Yeah. I was confused the first time, but I understand what actually happened. So, because at first I was like, wait a minute, how could I thought that Hamm, because John Hamm's character as well as his, they were saying that the way it transferred, I thought it was your legal kid. No, it's the legal kid of whoever put on the block.
Right.
No, because I thought it was, it's your, like, it has to be your child as well. I thought, or you know, even though it's your child, it still will happen. No, it's just the idea that, like, if you were harassing someone, why the fuck should you be unable to harass them but able to harass their kid? That's really fucking weird.
Right.
So, of course, and obviously she is clearly the legal, like, you know, her legal daughter.
Right.
Duh.
Exactly.
So, yeah, so that's why it's like, oh, yeah, no, you can't harass her or her kid. And, you know, it was such an interesting take on, I will admit, even though we can talk more about the repetition stuff a little bit later and how that was frustrating, I do enjoy the fact that they did tackle some themes that even now, I believe at this point, it's 6 years later, because I'm pretty sure this came out in 2012, 6 years later, still just as relevant.
Right. And I like how they at least had a few references here and there to older episodes.
Easter eggs.
Some of the themes being recycled is, I mean, it's okay because they were just little general themes here and there, and they're pretty big themes to just gloss over. But yeah,
well, no, I mean, no. I'm fine with Easter eggs, and I'm fine with, like, I'm not saying the whole, because the thing is, the eye thing, I consider that more of an Easter egg than, like, a theme. When I talk about the copy-paste or, like, it's being redone or whatever, it's just the idea of, like, if it has to be man v. woman, the woman has to be cheating, and the man has to be, like, aggressively, or in this case more so than the other time, but... Yes, exactly. I think that's a bit of an issue. That's just my take on it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's supposed to be showing the worst of humanity, so. But granted, why couldn't you have it the other way too? There's no reason
exactly
you couldn't swap it. Right.
That's what I'm saying. Or other shades. That's all.
Yeah.
Although, wait a minute. I was confused. I thought that this special took place after season 2. I might be wrong about that. On Netflix, it only lists the first 3 episodes, and then White Christmas technically being the first episode of season 2, a bit like how that happened with some of the Doctor Who Christmas specials, where they just kind of lump them in between. When Doctor Who was on Netflix, they kind of lumped them in between the episodes instead of being separate Christmas specials. Maybe no, because on my Netflix, I'm watching it on television. Which, by the way, it's terrifying to watch Black Mirror on a smart TV because when you haven't watched it in a while, maybe you left it paused, when you click a button to try to get back into the Netflix menu, it says, welcome back. And I'm like, not today, Satan. You think
sorry,
you're going to fuck...
You've used not today, Satan, too many times. It's today.
Oh, my God. Pay 500 bits to get away from Satan. Oh, God, all right. Take me, Satan. Whatever, I don't want to pay. It's like, you have like 1 million bits. What the fuck? Just do it, Satan. Are you Satan's even confused. Like, really?
Christ.
No, but really though, the fact that, like, I'm talking about just that one, just the one with the man woman. Granted, if it's supposed to be a thing where it's like, no, it's a compilation of the first 3. Granted, there was very little pig fucking in this one, but still, if it's meant to be very little to none.
Honestly, I feel like that's the least disturbing out of all of these. It's just incredibly awkward.
I love that the show has done that to you, and frankly, I think that's what the creators wanted. They wanted to start us off with pig fucking out of context, man. They wanted to start us off with that,
and work our way up to the actual issues with humanity.
Right. At this point, it's just like, you know what? That's not so bad. It's like, guys, he had sex with a pig. Yeah, but like, terrorism was also involved in that. That sucks.
Yeah. No.
But,
Matt, it wasn't terrorism. It was art.
Right. So, in this one, though, I have a question. Do you know anything about Jon Hamm? When I even say that name, do you know who that is?
Not off the top of my head, no.
I was saying Jon Hamm is a dick because that's the American guy in this episode that we're talking about of Black Mirror in this Christmas special.
Right.
Yeah. No, he's actually American.
Right?
That's not an accent. Yes, that's the actual.
Right. Okay.
That's the actor's name, not the character's name. And he was also in. He was also in Mad Men. So that's why I'm like, oh, he was Don Draper, and he was an advertising guy. And that's why it was kind of like an in-joke when he asked him, he's like, oh, you worked for what, an ad agency? And I was like, that's funny.
Holy shit.
Because he'd worked on Mad Men before this. So I think that's another thing, too, that I disliked. Even though Jon Hamm was a spectacular asshole. Like, you hated him, but there was this charisma that was, it kind of drew you away from the other guy so much that when you learned what the other guy had actually done, it was such a good ploy by the creators and by the writers to just kind of, you have such a charismatic dickweed in front of you that you're like, well, this other guy who's, you know, he's very calm and subdued, he must be a saint compared to this fucker. Exactly. It's so interesting. Yeah.
I didn't have that feeling. I'm like, oh, God, this guy's is going to be so much worse, isn't it?
Oh, okay. I didn't have that premonition. My premonition, though, I thought Jon Hamm was going to murder the fuck out of him.
I did too, actually.
Yes. And you want to know when I got that vibe?
Where?
When I think it was when he was washing his hands and he was taking out something. I think he was taking out like food or something, and he was talking like from like, or he was doing something underneath the sink, and he was talking about the way, you know, it's all about getting into someone's head. And the way he said it, I was like, that's menacing.
Right.
But then that was the first, that at first I was like, yo, he's going to murder the fuck out of him. Then a bit later on, I forgot what exact moment it was, but they were both sitting at the table, and he said something that pressed the other guy for info, and I was like, oh, fuck, he's trying to get him to confess. But I didn't know why. I thought he was a cop, actually. I thought he made up the entire story.
Yeah.
Turns out, no, which was very interesting, a very interesting turn in and of itself. It's like, oh, no, he did all that shit. Like, don't get it twisted. He's a bad guy, too.
I'm doing this to cover my own ass.
Which
I need to get out of my own fucking shitty situation.
Which was so funny, by the way, to me, when he's just like, all right, so I did it. I'm good.
Yeah, I got the confession. You needed me. I'm free to go, right?
Oh, no.
Yeah, you're free to go.
Not just that. It's the twist when he's in the virtual reality, like in the cookie, if you want to call it in the cookie, in that area, when he's just like, he gets the confession.
Never gonna look at cookie the same way again.
Yeah, right? When he says, so you confess? Yes.
I'm just going to see a website pop up and be like, we use cookies to ensure, and I'm like, no.
My God. No, for me it wasn't a cookie. It was more so like Amazon Alexa.
Yeah,
that's what I won't look at the same way. Granted, I don't want an Alexa because I don't want – it's weird. I'm very weirdly on the grid. Like, I'm clearly on the grid, obviously. Like, it's – Matt, how are you on the grid? We're on a fucking podcast. I'm on the fucking grid. Like, I'm not off the grid in any way. Like, we have a podcast. We have, you know, different YouTube channels. We clearly are on databases. I get it. But I just feel odd having an Alexa in my home recording my conversations, even when I'm not directly talking to it. I'm just not interested, right? And then after this,
Yeah.
I'm really not interested because that was the whole knock. It was trying to say, hey, look, we're going to have something that clearly picks up on your tastes, on what you enjoy, and that's why it gets to be able to use you essentially to map out your entire day, what music you like, when you like to wake up, your schedule, your itinerary, all that shit is based on you. And it was just one of the most depressing parts of the episode is just having you essentially torturing yourself
Mhm.
and having no payoff. Because if I was me...
It's funny how Black Mirror assumes that we need an Alexa to do that.
Yeah, right? But what's even worse, too, is that, like, they didn't even, like... There's no, like, niceties in there. There's no... Although apparently government issued ones, like the one that the police were using, which you imagine that the police would have something more advanced than the general public. They can make entire worlds in there, or at least small houses, and it's interesting.
Right. Mm.
Because they literally made a house, which is weird because it did resemble the house that, you know, he killed the father.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was just part of the simulation.
No, but what I'm saying is that the cookies for home use, they were just white rooms.
Oh, I see what you mean. That they put the extra mile into this one, and yet the home ones are just blank.
Exactly. For for consumer use. Oh, this one's cheap. This one's affordable. Yada yada. I say affordable in terms of like it seemed like that woman had a lot of money, so they probably do cost a lot, but a bit different than like a military grade is what I mean. You know, cops getting military grade weapons, or just general like high tech equipment. Like anytime anyone says something like, "Oh, I have a really cool gun. I can protect myself from government tyranny," it's just like, government got like super drones. Like government snaps their fingers, Alexa becomes a drone. Like, chill. Like, you know. So the idea that like the consumer version of this tech is just blank slate, white room, just push a couple buttons to make someone's,
I wonder if that
plan.
was like, hey, you can add on this accessory for more money, and she's like, no, fuck that.
Right,
but it might make your alter self a little happier in your... No, why would I care about that? You're right.
How funny is it that, like, her alter self seems so nice, but she's a piece of shit, and it's kind of like, you should see that you would do that to yourself. Can't you?
Right, yeah. You think it would be an odd, like, existential... Like, still having that, horrible mental breakdown, of course, but, like, also being like, wow, I'm a piece of shit. I'm going to fuck with me. I'm going to set all your fucking alarms wrong. Granted, they would just call tech support and be like, hey, my thing isn't working, and then you go into solitary confinement for another year.
Yeah, no, not that way. What I'm trying to say, because if that was the case, I'd burn the whole house down. I'd get burned down too, so be it. No.
That was literally what you sent me as we were watching it.
Yeah. I mean, yes, that's what
I just burned the place down.
No, what I meant was this. What I was saying was her alter self, being the cookie, right, in the actual device, has to at one point be like, you know what? This is something I would do.
Right.
No, because she is her. She is her taste, but she's essentially her in the span of a week. All of her in that moment, that's her. Like, she truly was like, why am I in here? And because it's her. So, like, what I'm saying is she should sit back and be like, man, this is difficult making these plans for myself. I really need, like, an alter... I would do that. Okay, no, I see why I've done this to myself. I would... No, because you are you. You see what I mean? It's not like you're like a...
Right.
Even though, in that case, we were sympathetic to her because obviously, like, we're sympathetic because obviously it's supposed to not be her, in theory, but it is so much of her that she should be like,
No, the funny thing is, it's like, so we seem to actually have taken whatever humanity you had in your brain and put it into your cookie device. Would you like some of that? No.
Right. It was interesting because I really should have known from this show that they would take that kind of technology and they would use it again later somehow. But it was such a good twist, I think, because we truly believe that both worlds, I guess maybe because one was American and one wasn't, that both worlds were disconnected from each other, when really this is, like, they both clearly lived in similar areas, because even though John Hamm's character was American, he talked to a lot of people who were not American. So he didn't live in America, right. He just was American.
Yeah, well, because he said his wife was British, I think.
Exactly.
So,
but like everyone he interacted with in that hobby group, they were not American.
Right, yeah.
No, because what I'm saying is that even though they were both from the same time period, same world, it seemed like you would think their stories were disconnected, but it's like, no, they take place in the same time. This isn't like, my first thought was they were both in purgatory. I was worried about purgatory for a bit. Especially around the end, I was like, wait, is he a cop or is he like the devil judging him or some shit?
Right.
Which is like, Matt, come on. This isn't like, Twilight Zone just always sticks in my head. It's like, who is the devil? All of you are the devil. It's like, no, this isn't Twilight Zone. This is only going to be about scientific shit. So it's the sciencey devil. I'm the devil, but with science. Oh, no.
I'm the science devil. Oh, God.
He just hits you with equations.
I'm going to deconstruct your argument and show you how you're wrong with science. And yes, you can't prove me wrong. No, I'm kidding.
Why are you
could come up with an alternate hypothesis, but it's going to be tough.
I'm the science devil. Why is it so hot down here? Global warming. Oh, no.
Yeah, hell's getting hotter, too. Didn't think of that one, did you?
My God. Satan's like, I would
Checkmate,
actually, this is getting too hot for me. Anyway, I'm just saying that they seem to like two different settings, but it's something that we really should have taken into account, especially with the fact that, like, I thought the iLink thing in the beginning was just like some sort of like weird Google Glass thing, but in your eye. I didn't realize that he was actually tapping into a technology that they all have in their eyes, like with the History of You.
Yeah. And I love it how it seems like it's a little bit in the future, because he's like, yeah, and you can't remove the damn things. Granted, I guess you'd have to be pretty crazy to try and remove it yourself like he did, but it's like, it's physically possible. It's just, you might actually die in the process.
Yes, because, well, here's the thing. So according to the creators, no Black Mirror episode or special connects to each other.
Huh.
But
all them references.
yes, people online have connected the first two seasons, including the special, in roundabout ways. Like if one episode has, because we haven't seen everyone, so I don't know. I've read the connections, but I actually don't remember the names because, again, I haven't seen everyone. But like if one episode has like a newscast on like, not the one with the train, but other ones, like in the background are like, 15 people die here. One episode will be about those 15 people or something. So, according to the creators, no, it's just Easter eggs. It's not actual. They're not, one-to-one. But it does seem like this is a world where they would start off with the optional eyes, the optional Shinigami eyes, and then eventually they would be stuck with them, and then eventually they'd have shitty-ass worlds where people are in these, rooms fucking streaming themselves just to get by.
Right.
Which is really funny because, again, we currently have people living in small, shitty apartments streaming themselves just to get by. But the Earth is still doing somewhat better than it is in Black Mirror.
Go ahead, Matt. Finish that sentence. Do it.
Somewhat better. Speaking of murder, Matt, murder, Matt, nobody was transitioning to murder. Speaking of murder,
I was. Okay.
That's fair. That woman in the beginning, I thought she was going to kill him. I didn't think that it was some suicide pact involving voices in her head.
Right. See, I thought it was going to be she was also being instructed by someone, and they were going to be like,
Yes.
And like the two of like it becomes just a match of like pride between the two who are guiding them. Like that would have been funny, and that's the funny thing. It's like you're right. That would have been too comedic. So here, drink this this drain cleaner that I mixed in with your drink. Oh, okay.
Light VL, just via people instructing other people how to fuck. It's the weirdest adaptation.
Yeah.
That would actually be a better Death Note adaptation than Netflix's Death Note adaptation. But anyway, no, I didn't know.
I will show that my side of justice is correct. And it's just the two of them. Like, so do we say that out loud to each other, or?
Oh my God. No, it's
I will
just.
prove my justice.
All right, this is. Have we lost sight of the fucking? Have we lost sight of what we came here to do?
No,
but
I'm still here to do what I've come to do. If you want to fuck, go right ahead. But I'm going to make sure that we win this. Wait, if we're both going at it, then how? Like we both won. No, there can only be one. Wait, I'm confused.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Anyway, so all I'm trying to say, Tristan.
We're just screaming justice at each other through the headsets, and the two people are like, so you're making this weird for us? Like, do you guys want to fuck? Like, we can go. Like, we can just put the headsets next to each other and, like, leave you two at it.
By the way, so, like, all jokes aside, though, I wonder if it was illegal because there were no headsets. Like, when I say illegal, because here's the thing. Apparently, like, he actually linked in with his eye. Like, I wonder if that's, like, government property and that's why it's illegal. Because I got to be real. Well,
Maybe.
I'm not saying, like, here's the thing. John Hamm's character, sleazy, obviously. Sleazy as fuck. Is that illegal, what he did? Like, I don't think it's illegal. It's wrong, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't want anyone...
Yeah.
Like, if I knew someone, and they were like, hey, I'd like to hang out with the guy, I'd be like, no, don't.
Because I'm pretty sure the only two charges they gave him were being, present in the act, and even that's questionable. And then the other one was like, well, you failed to report a murder. It's like, all right, fair.
But here's the thing. That's obvious. But when I say illegal, I'm referring to the illegality of putting him onto the sex offender registry.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
that's what they did.
Right. Yeah, that
so
was...
I'm wondering. Yeah, like I'm wondering,
I don't,
like, is it no? Like I'm.
I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I know, but that's why I'm wondering. I'm like, is it illegal to like hack into someone else's eye to see them?
Right.
Like is
it
that
a certain, like, yeah, the dude paid for a service, but it's still illegal for you to hack into his system and to be able to see what he sees like you did. You're tampering with not his, like, property that's government tech. Like, you just hacked into the government, basically.
I'm wondering, yeah. Because, of course, he didn't just do that with him. He did that with the other guys as well. They all mentioned that they were like, hey, so, because I loved it. He was just like, so I don't know if I feel comfortable with this.
That's a weird fucking club.
You know, it's interesting. It is. No, because I actually was like, before John Hamm was like trying to watch him have sex and then there was a club, I was like, it's still creepy, but in a way it's just like, it's a service. It's a creepy service. Like, I wouldn't hire the dude.
Right.
And I wouldn't, like, if someone told me like, oh yeah, I was thinking of going to this, I'd be like, honestly, dude, I would think of you creepy if you were like hired him to like link in and try to help you, have sex with someone. Especially, you know what it is too? It's the tactics that he used more so than the idea of a service. Because it's like, you want that one? Don't talk to that one. Talk to that one. And then also be very rude in a way by not including them in the conversation. Oh, they don't want to talk to you? Oh, fuck. Then it's, then this is going to be an even better challenge. Like, the way he spoke about it rather than just offering the service, I think is more so what made me be like, oh, fuck this guy. Because I got to be honest with you, offering a service where it's like, oh, you have clear social anxiety and you don't talk to people that often, specifically women. let me help you
Right.
talk to quote-unquote women. Granted, it wouldn't fucking work because no woman is exactly the same. You can say that you know minds, but, like, it's, again, just like this woman showed, like, even though it was an issue because, in my opinion, it demonized mental health, still,
Right.
it does show you that people are different.
Right. There's only
You
so
know?
much psychology, quote unquote, that,
Mm-hmm.
and not dissing psychology. This is pseudo psychology. It's if anything.
Yes, that's why. That's why you're dissing it, because it's
yeah.
pseudo.
Right. It's like not everyone's across the board. There's not a plan or a gimmick that works on everyone. That's just and so it's just impossible.
Yeah.
In general.
Also, odd side note, I loved the lighting in this portion of the episode. The lighting was beautiful. Like the light on Ham to make him just, you know, I don't know, like just really seem like he's just like in the dark in front of a computer. Like it didn't seem like there was any false lighting there. It's just the desktop just lighting him up. The fact that when the guy, the one who ended up dying, when he was sitting in her living room with the light shining on him, like angelic, despite the fact of what he was doing.
Right.
And then how the light changes to red when they're in that room, and then she ends up killing him. Like, just, I don't know, just the colors, the whites, the reds. It felt very, what's the word I'm looking for? Just, oh God, not out there. Very, can't think of the word I'm looking for. Potent? Strong? Intense?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
the intense changes. I really enjoyed that. What I didn't enjoy is when he died. Actually, no, what I did enjoy was when she fucking took, when she put when she chugged it down his throat. I was like, all right, look, this was upsetting before, but now this is painful.
Yeah. Like,
'cause, like, I was, yeah.
Everybody's face in the group is he's just like, everyone leave. Nobody saw anything. Get the fuck out now. And they're all just like, monitor off. Just their faces.
Well, because for me, the way I saw it was like, he's just like, Ham's character just like, look, this has never happened to us before, but in a way I've always wondered. Like, in the off, because like, he just like, he was prepped. Like, there was no like, well, what do I do here? Like, yo, he was ready to burn that shit to the ground.
And he would have gotten away with it too, if it wasn't for those meddling kids' toys.
So, I gotta be honest, I'm pretty sure the kid was like a baby. Why the fuck were
Probably.
toys left out like that? Did we see how young the kid was or no? What? Wait, what?
Because parents get tired too.
Yeah, right? No, because like, but seriously though, like,
I'll pick that shit up tomorrow.
No, not like that. I mean, like, I don't remember how old the kid was. I don't know if we ever saw. No, but what I mean is,
I don't think we saw his kid.
Oh wait, no, the kid had to be old enough. We saw. I just saw it right now. There was one of those fences so that the kid doesn't walk off the stairs.
Right.
No, let me explain. The kid in my head was like a baby, so it's like, wait a minute. How young is your kid that you have random ass toys lying around? Like, you would think that if the kid was like confined to a crib, it can't move. Like, the toys would be near the crib, or like a bassinet, you know what I'm saying? Like, there'd be like a bassinet or like, you know, something there. But now I've realized, like, no, we don't know how old the kid is. What we do know is the blocks can happen. And those are very interesting. And I think those are an amazing way to take the idea of a Facebook block and make it fucking year 3000.
Yeah.
It's so interesting because you said something to me off podcast, and I would like your take on this, what you said, because it's actually what a lot of people feel about blocks. So can you tell me if you remember what you said?
I do not remember exactly what I said. Here,
Dope.
let me rewind my eye insert and go back to that memory. Here it is.
You actually have a text. You sent me a text. You fool. You're looking back at a message that's in front of you.
You're fool.
All right. Do you actually not remember what you said?
No, I don't remember what I said off the top of my head.
That's fair. What you said was, which again, it's still in front of you. What you said was.
Oh, right. Yeah, now I see it. Go ahead.
No, because you're talking on your cell phone, but your Facebook is open in front of you on your computer. I'm like, Tristan, but like actually.
But how would you know, man?
Right. Anyway. But here's the thing. So what you had mentioned was it seems like a block doesn't really do anything because you can still the husband threw a fucking a vase against the wall.
Across. Yeah. Right. Exactly. It's like, sure, I cannot. You're sort of mumbled. I can still tell you're incredibly angry though. So really should probably have it be a mute. And I can't see you, but you're still physically here. And oh god, that's a plant.
Yes.
It's like, well, that really didn't do anything now, did it?
And that's what's interesting. Because that's how people feel about blocks in real life, though. Oh, you don't get to talk to that person anymore. Sure. But if they still wanted to come up to you in the street, it's not like the block just, makes an invisible wall around you.
Right, magically. Yeah, right.
But that's what's so interesting, though, about blocking people. Again, we're talking about, like, blocking people in real life for us. If you block someone on Facebook or on Twitter, that doesn't really mean anything. It just means that you can't talk to that person anymore. And some people feel as if, but then different ideas can't be exchanged, and then you're just trapped in a bubble of your own opinions, which I think is very interesting. Now, in some ways I do disagree because some people try to say that, and I'm like, yeah, but you're advocating for Nazi shit, so what the fuck? Like, it's a bit different. No, because like some people will be like, hey, man, like this blocking stuff, we just can't like share our own opinions. It's just like you think you're racist though. Like it's a bit different than someone talking about a tax bill. Like
exactly.
But
it shows the problems with like that kind of option here, but it's also like for people it's like just screaming profanity at someone. It's like, well, at least it'll get rid of that.
That's the interesting thing, though, is because the thing is, though, is you could block someone if it was because here's the thing. The way I can see it used poorly is if someone is, if someone's arguing with someone else, be they in a relationship or not, and if they're having a good argument, but, maybe it gets a bit too heated, to me, it wouldn't, like, someone might think, and they might look at me and go, oh, you know what, let's pick this up later, and then block me. But I would take it as, if you block me for even a minute, I'm never talking to you again, even when you unblock me, because that's some rude shit. Yeah. So if I was dating someone and they blocked me in that way, I'd be like, all right, I'd write a note.
Hi.
I'd write a
note.
Goodbye.
Right.
And I'd leave, because that's some rude shit.
And that would be the healthy thing to do. Of course.
Right.
We're not talking about healthy.
Nope. I was just Black Mirror logo. Nope. But still, though, yeah, that's the thing with
Black Mirror is just like, I'm sorry, could you take a look at that reflection one more time?
Right. But the difference, I have to say, though, blocking in this case, though, in this show, when it's done, to random people, especially, again, if someone's just yelling at you obscenities. Like, if someone's being racist to you on the street, it's just like, oh, I could block that person? Fucking amazing.
Right, yeah.
Especially when the block is legally binding, which in this case was really bad. But in general, though, a block being legally binding is actually really good. Because it's like, oh, if you even come anywhere near me, and because we're blocked, it's like that whole shit is sent to the police.
It's kind of like, it's a restraining order, basically.
Yes, basically. So in that case, it's very interesting. Of course, in this case, it went horribly, horribly wrong. However, at the same time, though, the way this dude was as a person, I'm kind of cool. Yeah. Like, it's one of those things, too, where, like, I'm not saying that she should have cheated on him, but they especially because the guy that she cheated on with, he was also in a relationship with the coworker, which was like, well, that's also kind of fucked up. Like, you fucked her up. Why'd you do that?
Right.
No, because he was dating that other coworker, the one that they walked out together and then they were at the dinner party together.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But no, it was one of those, this guy was a piece of work, though. Just putting that out there. He was a real piece of work.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Grief will I mean, I guess that's what you. Maybe not grief. No, that's not the right word.
No, because that was after. No, because grief put him over the edge, and I actually understand
Right.
why he was so out of it. Because at first I was like, dude, I understand that she passed away, but like, that dude, like, come the fuck on. But I will admit that yes, he clearly lost. Like, he shouldn't be in jail. He should be in a mental institution.
Right. And I feel
like
it was kind of weird. Like, I don't implore. Like, he made the wrong course of action. Of course, he got too heated and like he threw something across the room. That's never okay. But like, he was also like, you're pregnant and you didn't tell me, and you didn't even be like, yo, it's not yours.
And she drank.
I know that's not. Yeah, I can understand why he was upset. Granted, I don't condone the actions that he took, but like,
no,
it was
of
weird.
course I understand.
They're trying to like split it into this. Hey, they both did wrong, but it's like, but I feel like you're trying to push us in a certain direction.
Well, no, I don't think they're trying to push us in a direction, but I do believe that it's a bit too 50-50. Like, I mean, here's the thing. The second time watching this, I think that maybe they just want us to, in a funny way to connect it to the whole choose your own adventure, they want people to come up with their own, opinions on it. Like, oh, who do you think was worse, I guess. And in my case, I would say he was. But some people might go, oh, but she should never have cheated on him. And it's like, yeah, but he fucking threw a vase across the room. I would not trust that dude to get mad in any other situation.
Right. Yeah,
with
exactly.
a kid
I'm
on
not
the
sure
way.
I want you around this child anymore.
If that was your reaction. Now, granted, I just said that I would leave the person. Like, look, I would be mad if someone blocked me, especially in that situation. But then I would call her dad and be like, listen, I know you and I don't see eye to eye, but
something is up here.
Yeah, but like, she is pregnant with my child, and it's fine if she doesn't want me around, but does she not even want... Because the thing, too, is it seemed like she wasn't even going to keep the child. I mean, she drank with the child in her.
Yeah, she was trying to get rid of the child.
Or at least not have a care for, like, oh, it's going to be gone anyway. And then she kept the child...
Right.
Which, to be fair, again, I don't think you should... If he's the father after the way he acted, I'm not saying that she should bring him back into the fold. But still, it I don't know, it was just a very strange situation, especially seeming that, as far as we know, she never even told the father about it.
Right.
Like, as far as we know, I have no idea.
Yeah, right, that wasn't shown, so we have no idea.
All I'm trying to get at here is that I feel as if they just go a little bit too much 50-50. Now, I'm not saying that, look, I know that I watch a lot of superhero stuff, be it U.S. or Japanese, and obviously the superheroes and supervillains are very clearly defined. I don't need that in my media. I'm fully fine with there being gray areas and black and white. That's fine. That's what Black Mirror is about. But at the same time, I do think that with some of the women on the show so far, other than in the second episode, just the two cases that we've seen women thus far, you and I, because again, we haven't seen season 2. By the way, confirmed, it is the first 2 seasons and then White Christmas. But the women that you and I have seen thus far on season 1 and in this special usually are doing terrible things, not the ones that have terrible things done to them. Again, the second episode obviously proved that wrong. That's why I can't say it's the majority of the time. And in the first one, we weren't really focusing on the women. We were just focusing on a man and his love for pigs. So, a heartwarming story. No, a tale that'll leave you saying, oh, fuck, why? And so, do-do-do. No, but really, though, Tristan, I feel as if having this, because even in this special, if we're not talking about the guy and his not even fiance, just his girlfriend that he did not manage to get pregnant, the two of them, even if we're not talking about the two of them, we still have the one case of a woman literally destroying herself via this cookie. Like, yes, it was Ham being the prick, But it's like, did she really not know? I mean, I know we don't have that information, but maybe she really doesn't know how the cookie works. They don't tell them.
Yeah, I get the feeling they don't actually tell them.
Yeah. Oh, it's like a piece of you. See, isn't that nice? Oh, it's lovely. By the way, his line about, by the way, you make a great toast. I was like, oh, fuck you, dick. That, and then you picked up, no, the line that you picked up on had me laughing. The one where, you know, he's talking to the woman after destroying herself, essentially, digitally. And he's talking to her, and he goes, there was this guy riding shirtless on a horse.
On a horse down the middle of the road. No way. Swear to God. I'm like, you piece of shit.
I said that out loud. I said, you piece of shit, out loud when I saw that.
No, so did I.
Oh, my God.
I think even my mom walked by, and she was like, you okay? I'm like, Black Mirror. She's like, oh, okay.
Has she seen it yet or no?
No, she's heard me talk about it for the podcast. I just told the last time we did this, I told her about it.
She's like, that sounds depressing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh God. I don't know why I should imagine your mom, who's a cool mom, but I imagine like describing this show to her just turns her into like Marge Simpson. Kids, just can you lighten up?
Possibly.
But anyway, yeah. So when it comes to, by the way, it does make sense that with Jon Hamm's character, his quote unquote hobbies, that he definitely would do something like this for a living.
Right.
Could you imagine him not doing this? Like, what else would he fucking do? Oh, he's a school teacher. No, those kids would be severely fucked up. Like, what could he possibly do other than some terrifying shit like this?
Sure.
Completely just, you know, what's it called? Completely just devoid of any kind of empathy. I mean, he even, by the way, though, it's very interesting watching this episode a second time to see how he's trying to connect with the other guy in the room when he says things like, oh, you know, you seem to have very kind heart. Because, you know, it's just code after all. Well, no, but it's like a person. It's like, oh, well, clearly you have some empathy in you and shit like that. And I'm like, now looking back, and I'm like, he was playing him.
Oh.
He was playing him the entire time. Just trying to get him to crack it, like just break him down, try to get him to open up, say things like, you're a good man who may have done something not so good. Like he was truly just being like that, kind of like that cop, essentially trying to...
I am good cop, bad cop.
Yes. No, yeah, it was very interesting that he decided to do that, and that's kind of how he went about it. Very much, kind of like good cop, bad cop, but like it's himself, you know. Well, he is his own good cop, bad cop. But really, though, so I've been talking a lot. I know you have too, but I want to hear what you think about this a bit more. Because, again, I've been, like, did you think this one was as quote-unquote bad as the rest of them? Because I know you have a problem with Black Mirror, understandably.
Well, not a problem. It gets too much for me.
Understandable.
Like, I have a friend who introduced me to this show, and she's like, yeah, I love this. I'm like, how can you watch this with a straight face? And she just kind of shrugs and looks at me.
Yeah, no, I can't watch more than, like, a season in a row or something, or more than, like, one episode or two episodes. Like, after a while, it does break you down. There's a reason why I've only seen, like, 2 seasons, and I was like, it's 2 seasons, because, I didn't get season 1. 2 seasons, and I was like, I'm good for now. Although I might have, no, actually, I'm sorry. I saw, like, 3 seasons, or 2.5, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. Like, I didn't need to, I'm not a Black Mirror junkie. Like, it's a bit much.
Yeah.
So, and I get that. So then so your issue isn't that it's a problem. I mean, I know you don't think it's a bad show, but what I'm saying is, out of the ones that we've seen thus far, because I feel like sometimes, especially looking at this show, you built this thing up like it was the devil. Like when I was like, oh, let's do another Black Mirror, you were like, well, I guess I'm going to be depressed again. And I was just like, Tristan.
Yeah, it's weird because I kind of did actually enjoy this one a bit more.
And there was some depressing shit, don't get me wrong. But
yeah. Yeah. I guess, I don't know, maybe I just enjoyed the build-up in this one a bit more.
Yes, I agree with you 100%.
Like, I feel like it was written a little more for... It was a bit more suspenseful in its build-up and, like, a little bit more on the Alfred Hitchcock side than really on the, I guess, the, evils of humanity hitting you hard, like, it's like, we're going to open up, whip the gut punch!
Yes.
Instead, this one kind of eased into it. It's like, well, things are getting progressively worse.
Yes, which I think is a...
Don't
get
me wrong, things are still terrible, but we're going to ease you into them this time instead of, here's the bad thing. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think with the other three, because it definitely happened with the first two. I'm thinking, the third one was one that eased, and I think that's why maybe you and I enjoyed the third one as much as we did the third episode. Even though the second episode was, I think, was both of our favorites in the first season. The third one was kind of an ease, where it's like, okay, yes, they have these devices, but it didn't show how bad they could be immediately. Yes, it had the guy going through them, back, like, trying to see how his interview went, but it wasn't as bad until it starts to, accuse people of cheating and things like that. Then all of a sudden things change. But in the first two episodes, when you have the first one, immediately it's just like, sir, yes, pig fucking. What? Like, that was the first episode.
Yeah.
In the second one, it was like
that one was just absurd.
Right. But still, it was like, but it was immediately in your face is what I mean. The second one was like, hey, fuck fat people. Also, look at everything else that's going on around you. Like, that one was like immediately in our face, like, ooh, this is a bad reality. I don't want to be a part of this reality.
Right.
In
you
this
have to
one,
bike today. If you don't, you're a piece of shit. So all right.
Exactly. In this one, even though, yes, there was a murder relatively quickly in the episode, to be fair, at the same time, it was a very interesting way of peaking and then kind of coming back down without making it seem like there's a huge shift in tone.
Right.
Where what I mean is like, it's like, oh God, murder, and then it's like it comes down without it seeming like it's like a crash.
Yeah, because it comes
like
back down.
Yeah.
It's like, so what'd you do? Like, this is what I did. So what did you do?
And then even in what he did, there were peaks where it's just like, oh, I did this horrible thing, and then things kind of got slow for a while, and then sadly she passed away, and then, oh God, things peaking again.
Yeah.
So that was very interesting with that one, with this one in particular, and how it peaked. And still, again, like when you said it felt slow and drawn out, yes, it did, in a way, because yes, again, there were peaks, but still, it was a bit different than every other episode where, because it's 45 minutes, they have to build this entire world in this one episode, where in this one, even though it was hard to tell when it was, yes, there were like little mini futuristic vibes to it, it was a very good episode in the sense that, just like episode 3 and episode 1, they didn't have to build this entire crazy futuristic world. It could just look like normal modern day, but with a few twists.
Right.
And, of course, the twists were the blocking technology alongside the cookie technology, but nothing crazy that seemed so...
And I think it was also, like, those little Easter eggs in this special, like, looking back and being like, oh, shit, those were in previous episodes this season. It gave me that little bit of stress relief that I needed, like, just in the background. Yet not not taking me out of the story, but being like, oh, that was cool. I understood that reference.
Right, yes. Little references that kind of, they're not meant to be like laughed at, but I will admit, yes, they kind of, well, in a way they ease the tension. The song for me did not ease the tension. I was like,
yeah, the song was
God.
like, oh shit.
Mhm. You know, you think like, oh God, is that her grandmother? Is that her great grandmother? You don't know, but like,
oh
yeah.
God.
Obviously, you know now that it probably isn't.
No.
Yeah, no. Unless she had unless she had a sister, probably isn't. But
Right.
you know, either way though, yeah, I do feel as if the Easter eggs did help in a way, yes, because in a sense it was, and also by the way, speaking of technology getting better, the little baby on the pregnancy test was like a little funny thing, in a way, where it's kind of like things have progressed where like you can have a little, because I'm pretty sure there's no pregnancy tests out right now that have a little tiny baby on it to say whether or not you're pregnant. It's just, is the thing blue or is it pink?
Right.
But anyway, back to the easing tensions. Yeah, I think building up worked out really well, and that's why even though there were 2 stories told, still in an hour and 10 minutes, extending this and having it be, longer than a normal Black Mirror episode, because I'm pretty sure the normal ones are around 45 to 50 minutes. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it. Just, I don't know, it just felt like it flowed very well. And that's why I think the only real issue that I had with this was just the depiction of women, specifically the woman in the second story, because other than that, I think that it was a very good episode compared to some of the other ones.
Right.
Again, I really do love episode 2 of season 1. I really do. But it's just so fucking depressing, where somehow this one wasn't.
It seems to depict, like, it almost seems like, obviously morbid, but like morbidly comedic. It's like, I know people usually do the wrong thing, but like, do both people in the relationship usually fuck up that badly to each of their extremes? Like, it seems like we just took the worst possible decisions that either of them could have made and put it into one relationship. It's like, that seems almost too perfect. Like, too perfectly wrong, but still too perfect.
That's a great opinion. I actually enjoy it. Yes, that's a great take. And it also is a thing, too, where, I don't know if I'm, like, look, I get that people have relationship issues, but I hope that future episodes of Black Mirror can, kind of move away from that, because minus the second episode, which is called 15 Million Merits, the national anthem, they were having relationship issues before, during, and after the episode. Granted, he was the cheater, pig fucker, but still. And then in the entire history of You, more relationship issues, and then in White Christmas, more relationship issues. Which, with the first story, with John Hamm's character, there weren't relationship issues until he fucked up. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, when it comes to the secondary story, I was trying to think of his name. I can't believe I've forgotten his name. I want to say Gavin, but either way, it's odd because I also don't because I think we're supposed to, kind of take our own opinion, take our own stance on what's going on. I feel like with what happened to his cookie at the end, where it's like, oh, we've set it to 1,000 years in the future, playing the same song over and over, you could sit there and think, well, good for him, fuck off. But in my head, because I'm a sympathetic person, I'm like, is that supposed to elicit sympathy from me? Because it can't. He literally murdered her dad, and then because of his actions, the little girl died, who technically wasn't his kid, but still the kid of the woman that you say you loved.
Right. And just the fact that it's a child, like, it's not the child's fault that your life is fucked up.
Exactly.
And, that's the thing. Like, it is kind of sad in the sense, like, he never meant it to go that far. I don't think he even meant to hurt the father either.
No.
Because at that point, there was just no point to anything. He just lashed out in a fit of rage and then realized, oh, dear God, I didn't actually want to do that. But
exactly.
He still murdered him, so I don't think he deserves to be put on loop for a fucking 1,000 years with Christmas music playing and seeing the dead girl outside the house. Because holy shit, like, who the fuck is running this police precinct? Jesus Christ.
But that's the thing, it's not him, and that's what's weird about it.
I mean, that's the idea. Like, in Black Mirror, it's like people don't look at it as an actual person, but it's like you literally just extracted their consciousness and put it into an Alexa.
Yeah, no, I would never. No, I would never do that. I'm being like I would never fucking do that.
Like, they remove. No one seems to have any humanity, and if they do, it is immediately extinguished from them.
Right,
quick.
But it's not. Yeah, but it's not removed. It's copy pasted. You know that, right? That was the tech.
No. I know. I mean, just like characters in Black Mirror episodes, as it is. It's like, wow, your humanity, like any form of kindness that you had in you is like kind of at the bare minimum right now. And as we go further, it seems to be lowered any second. But that's the point. I know. Like. Yeah,
pretty much. I mean, it just shows how, like, you know,
it's a show of the evils of humanity. So yes, of course, it's going to be everyone makes the wrong decision and is a piece of shit.
Via technology, yeah.
And if you're not a piece of shit,
yeah.
You're probably going to be the one who dies in that episode.
It's a less funny version of It's Always Sunny, basically.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is. It's a less funny version of Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's kind of what the show is. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Arrested Development.
I get that. It's a good foil. So
yes, it is.
There are a lot of shows that are comedies of, wow, you made a really shitty decision. But this one's like, no, you made a really shitty decision, and now you have to live with it.
Basically. And I'm fine with that. I'm just, I just think that what you said earlier was very, very, was a very good point, a very salient point. Just this idea that, it's too good of a bad decision in some cases, so it's kind of like, all right, like, one of you could have fucked up less, and we could have
right, exactly. Seriously, one of you could have fucked up a little less. I mean, come on.
Like, all you could have done was given him a phone call. Not your kid, bye, click.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Like, I feel like at least they would have been like, all right, look, this just isn't worth the trouble anymore. It's not yours. Fuck off.
Exactly.
Like, still a bad delivery, but at the same time, like,
he's not owed. Like, look, he's not owed an explanation, obviously.
No,
but at the
of course
but
not.
at the same time, though, here's the thing, right? So he has no control over her body, which is why when even though yes, if it is his kid, I understand why he would want his kid to be kept in the world, but he's not the one giving birth.
Right.
You would think in a show like Black Mirror they could transfer birth, but like still, he can't give birth.
Yeah, right.
You would think, right?
Right.
But he can't give birth. So even though it is sad, and of course that also brings up a debate as well, obviously, which I'm sure none of you will talk about in the comment section down below. But there is obviously that discussion. No, but there is a discussion of like, hey, look, it's my kid too. It's like, yeah, but you're not the one giving birth to it. And also, again, in a world like Black Mirror, you think that it would be a thing where, you could probably fucking extract the kid and just have it give birth out of a woman's body, frankly.
I can have someone,
but still.
I can have someone else birth this kid. What?
Yeah, right? Snaps fingers. Oh my God, I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
And I'm also craving, no, but seriously, it's like I'm pregnant, damn it. So, you would think that, but either way, putting all that aside, the point though is that, even though, yes, he doesn't have control over her body, and he is not necessarily owed an explanation, it is nice if that is his kid, which, again, it clearly wasn't now that we know. But at the time when we thought it was his kid, it was like, it's nice not to give him visitation if you don't want to, but at least a small phone call or something. And, yes, he did grab her, but which was terrible. And that's why I think that, like, it's a thing where I think he deserves to be in jail or at least, a mental health facility more so than John Hamm's character.
Get help.
Yes.
Yeah, get help. And also, I get the restraining order. Like, totally get that.
It's so funny. No, it's Tristan. No, Tristan.
At least get the what?
No, it's just like he got a restraining order, and clearly he took it like a champ. Had to stay 15 feet away, stood 16 feet away, took it like a champ.
That's fair. Yeah.
No, it's just so funny though, because it's just the thought of like how to get that restraining order. Why? Well, Exhibit A through Z. I think we can see one. Yeah. Oh, my God. But anyway, I'm sorry. Please continue.
But yeah, it still felt like in the sense that, like, if, I mean, he didn't know, like you said, but, like, if it was his kid, it's like he should still get the chance or prove that he can be allowed to have the chance to just talk to them, if the kid even wanted to as well.
Exactly. And that's kind of what was sad about the situation. And again, it kind of tries to lean us, like, at least towards the middle. I don't know if it leans us towards his direction. Oh, by the way, did you notice the other Easter egg tying into that second episode?
Well, I saw the song.
There was the song.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, when he's flipping channels and he sees that the train crash happened, one of the shows that he turns on is that talent show.
Oh, my.
They're all dressed in the same tracksuits. They were like these 5 people dancing in unison. Yeah, I saw that.
I did not notice that one. Yeah.
Yeah, you can go back and see it if you want to hurt yourself.
Yeah, right.
Because
I need more of that, Matt. Sure, why not?
Yeah, right. I need some more pain in my life.
Tape. Eyes blur.
Tears. So yeah, the blocking thing. Again, it's an interesting take and it's an interesting discussion because do you block people? For me personally, I think that there's nothing wrong with blocking people either in our comment section or on Twitter. Why? Because if you're not actually having a legitimate discussion, then why do I don't need you to unless I find unless it seems funny to me because you actually went through the time to say something stupid over something that we literally say in the title of the video, which you remember that, Tristan, we did some podcasts where literally the video is just like Dragon Ball Z Movie 8 review. And people just like, why isn't this the real movie? And they call us shit that I can't repeat.
Not going to repeat, yeah. Exactly.
I can't repeat. I'm not going to repeat. But it's stuff that I sat there and I was like, this is terrible, but I'm going to heart your comment as a way to say fuck you. And I did. Exactly. I hearted their comments. And here's what's interesting. I didn't know this at the time because no creator hearted my comments at the time. I realize now that you get a notification when a creator hearts your comment. So people were just like, so this is what I will say, because some people did say this. They were like, oh, well, you're gay, you suck dick. And they literally that day or the day after or whatever got a notification. Those guys on the radio hearted your comments. To me, that's funny because it's just a way to say fuck you. However,
that's beautiful.
However, if someone is just going to be advocating for Hitler's beliefs and policies, I'm just like, why?
Yeah, no.
No.
Don't need this.
I can't control you buying our products if we have products, which we do have some T-shirts. I can't control you from buying our products. I can't control you from watching our stuff. But if that's just what you're just gonna copy paste Hitler propaganda, well, goodbye. Yeah. Blocked. But in this case, though, the way it's used in the show really does show you how it can go off the fucking deep end.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a broad, sweeping gesture to be like, this is the fix. It's like the fix doesn't work correctly for everybody.
Exactly.
Like, there's always going to be problems. And granted, it's difficult to fix those problems when everybody's lives is a case-by-case basis.
Exactly. And I think it was very interesting to show the worst-case scenario because in that regard, I don't think it's like, an anti-woman sentiment. Like, it's just he thought that that was his daughter, and granted, he should not have followed them, but he thought that was his daughter, and it turns out, no, that's not his kid.
Right.
Although, could you imagine, I don't know why, but I think it's because on Twitter, the Simpsons account actually tweets really funny Simpsons quotes. So could you just imagine him just being like, "Oh my God, I didn't know my girlfriend was Asian. No, Homer, she wasn't." Just in true Homer Simpson fashion, I didn't know she was Asian. No, she was not. Oh God, how do you tell him?
Yeah.
just wait a minute, I'm confused. Did I have sex with an Asian woman? No, you had sex with her. Oh, I know that I had sex with her, but also an Asian? No, she didn't come from an Asian woman. She's from her. What? Okay, how do we explain this to him? Someone just has to sit him down. Do you understand how biology works?
Right.
I don't know why the first thing. Again, I've been seeing way too many Simpsons quotes, so that's just what's like stuck in my head.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, though, I'm watching. By the way, as you guys might not know, if some of you guys are new listeners, I watched the episodes again in the background as we're talking about them. He just murdered the dad. Super sad shit. I was wondering if he was gonna like get the girl to come downstairs or something. I didn't know what he was gonna do. Because it's just like, does he sit back and be like, well, she's technically mine? Like, I know it was a psychotic break, but it was such an interesting break where it's just like, yeah, I don't know.
Right.
Like, where's my daughter? That's not my daughter. It's like, bruh.
You don't have one. You like.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun. It's not funny, but like at that point, it's like, yeah, no, that he's shattered. Because he's been coming up here for the last God knows how many years, watching from afar. It's like, if you just told him, it's like, dude, like at the get-go, dude, it ain't yours.
I do feel like,
obviously,
though,
still would have been angry and
it's
upset.
a good, yeah.
I feel like he might not have had that huge mental breakdown and murdered the father.
I gotta say though,
Just
it's a good, but it is a good lesson though for shitty people. It's just like, hey, how about you don't fucking do that?
Oh yeah, no, and like the twist was amazing. Like the
no, but I
writing
mean
of it
like,
was great,
yeah.
so.
When I say a good lesson, I mean like if someone's like, I'm gonna be a stalker. How about don't? But
yeah,
that's
how
my
about
kid.
you don't?
But that's my kid. Well, hold on a second there. Wait a minute
Right.
there, buddy.
But
you don't know.
even if it was your kid, how about you don't?
Yeah, right. No, but I'm saying it's just like it's a really good lesson. It's like, hey, how about you don't be a shitty person?
Right.
This is what happens when you do. Because, like, he could have went about his life. I don't know what he was doing as a job. I don't know what the fuck was going on with him. But he could have went about his life. Probably would have had a great life. Hell, wasn't even his
or
kid.
At least he would have had a life.
I mean, if he would have turned around, stopped drinking,
right,
and not been a prick, which sometimes do go hand in hand.
I wonder. True. I wonder if, like, because he wasn't. No, I guess it was later that night, so the drinking probably did have something with him throwing the vase across the room. Yeah, no, you're right. I was
no.
I think like, it's funny. The
yeah.
drinking actually didn't have much of an effect in this case, but no.
I
now
agree.
That I think of it, probably did.
No, actually, I agree. I don't think the drinking. Like, I think by that point he actually had sobered up a bit. I don't think that was the. No, because she drank more than he did that night. He even mentioned it. He was like, "You had a lot to drink."
Yeah, because it didn't seem like that night they came back from the karaoke bar, which I wonder. I don't know if that was the same night or not.
Me neither.
It may have been, but that cut was weird, so I don't know if it actually was.
Same.
Yeah.
But still, the point though is that I do think that I don't think his drinking was a problem that night. That's just him being a prick. And some people might be like, but he never touched her. But the thing is, and it's just the thing with abuse, it's like, look, if he was 15 years old and he like threw that across the room or he like punched a wall, I'd be like, hey man, you should teach him not to do that, but he's young. Like, don't do it, but he's underage, you know? But that dude was in his, like, he seemed like he was even older than us, and we're in our late 20s. So he was in his later 20s at most.
I feel like
they're
probably early 30s or something.
Maybe even early 30s, yeah. So what I'm trying to get at is he's old enough to, like, when he does that, it's like, dude, you should know that that's, like, really bad. Like, you don't, like, even though he didn't do that to her, it's still, you know, a woman isn't going to, and of course, she shouldn't be the reverse either, so a man shouldn't think this either, you know, but a woman isn't going to sit there and be like, he isn't thinking that vase is me. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You know, like, I'm so angry, I want to do this to a vase, and I can't do this to you. It's like, okay, well, let's not let it cross that line. Goodbye.
I will also not do this to you. I don't know if I want to take that chance to believe that.
Exactly. So that's my whole take on it. That's why I'm like, and he's a dick. Maybe not directly abusive, but a dick. So it's kind of one of those things where, for me, it's really hard to have that kind of sympathy because I'm like, even though she did a lot wrong, or not a lot, but she did stuff wrong, I'm like, it still was abuse-ish, and he also was a heavy drinker, seemingly. Like, she was not amused by his antics on stage or them having to drag him away. Granted, should she have cheated? Well, obviously no, but
right.
it wasn't, it's so funny. He was like, oh, it was a beautiful relationship. I mean, sure, we had some faults, and it's like only his faults. Like, it's like, yeah, it's so funny how the story started off with the two of them kissing. It's like, and for some reason her dad doesn't like me. It's like, I wonder why.
Right, yeah.
Just as the dad's dying, do you kind of see where I was coming from? I just want to put it out there. Yeah.
I guess he wasn't wrong.
Yeah, right.
Sits down at the table.
Yeah, right. I guess. But another thing too, by the way, another weird twist to this future, and I want to get your take on it. The idea that like he never confessed, but his cookie confessed, but it is him.
Right. Yeah. The fact that they made that a legit confession. Yeah, that was.
Are you comfortable with that kind of future? I mean, if you didn't do a crime, you wouldn't be confessing.
No, of course not.
It's just odd, though, right? Because it's like, but if you didn't do a crime, he wouldn't have confessed.
Oh, yeah. No, that feels like that's a total loophole. Like,
it should feel like it's a legal loophole.
The shit, like, that's the shit that no one ever thinks, and that's the idea. Like, a lot of episodes of Black Mirror try to point out, it's like, hey, you make this great tech, and then you don't think of the loopholes, and dear God, are there
But here's the thing, though, right? It's not... It's weird because, like, while I don't like it, it's still, if you didn't commit it, it's not like his cookie is going to be like, I know that I'm a cookie and I'm going to fuck this whole shit up. Like, as far as he knew, he was working in, quote unquote, the Arctic, I don't know, for 5 years with John Hamm's character.
Right. And then, hell, what if you made it even worse and make it like, what if it wasn't a guy that was what if they were trying to get a confession out of someone we had absolutely no sympathy for during the episode whatsoever? It's like, then how do you feel about it? It's like, it's still not.
Well,
my thing, right, but fuck.
Well, the thing is, for me, is I actually had barely little to any sympathy for him, so like I'm fine, right? But my thing is the tech though. It's like, but again, if you didn't do a crime, then would you confess? Like, no, because it believes it is you. It doesn't know until Hamm's character came in and told that piece of the artificial, the AI, hey, you're just bits. Right. You're not actually a real person. You don't have a body. Try to blow my face. You see, you can't. You aren't real.
It believes that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he could have. So literally, he could have looked in there. And if he had made a house for her, and it was her own house, he could have looked at her, and she would have been like, "Hi, who are you?" And he would have looked at her and said, "You're not going to believe what just happened. There was a guy outside." Sure. No, but he could have said that to a digital version. She could have been like, "Oh, really?"
Right.
Like she wouldn't have known.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. So, like, I'm not saying, granted, that version of him should be tortured. Like, he, the one on the outside, should be put in a bigger jail, a more prisonier jail. A prison-y prison. He should be put there, not the that version.
He seemed like he was in a pretty prison-y prison already.
Yeah, right. Well, no, he was at the police station because they were trying to crack him.
Oh, yeah, true.
Man, he was a real tough cookie. 2019 has been canceled. Officially. It's done. It's done. 2019's over. Cancel it. Shut it down. No, but seriously, though, I don't think that the cookie should be, I think it should be decommissioned. I don't think it should be set to 1,000 years. I know it's technically him, but, like, if there was a way to transfer it back into his body and he experienced that, okay, maybe fair. But, like, the fact that it was experiencing that while the other version of him was sitting in a jail cell, it feels like the real version of him that did it actually got off easier than the cookie version.
Yeah, that's true too. Like, the person who committed the crime then also doesn't feel the repercussions or get anything from the lesson.
Well, I mean, he will. I mean, he's going to go to jail.
Well, yeah, like he will later, but I mean that, yeah.
No, but you're right. In the moment, all that we saw, it's like that all ended up happening to someone that wasn't him necessarily.
Right.
And yes, exactly. But it's very interesting because again, it's like I don't want that to be utilized. That because it's like it technically got a perfect confession, but it's like arguably you did not confess. It's such an odd thing because I mean, here's the thing though, right? Something I even just noticed. I say it as if we're assuming that it's code and not a person. The same mannerisms that he had in his recanting of the story.
Right.
Like when he got upset, he like slammed his palms onto his head.
Yeah.
He did that both in the house, hearing the song for 1,000 years, as well as when he killed the dad.
Right.
So it truly is him, but it just doesn't feel right, does it? That like he confessed but didn't confess. But I mean, he killed them. It's rough, Now, before we wrap this up, how do you feel about the sex offender thing for Jon Hamm's character? Because, like I said much earlier, I don't know how to feel about that. Because another thing, too, is other people can see directly on him that he is on the sex offender registry list.
Yeah, I thought that one dude with the snow globe in his hand, which looked like the exact same model of the one that dude was going to give to his not daughter, I thought for sure he was going to go up and be like, hey, mate, and, like, smack him, like, in the head with it.
Yeah.
Like, you're on the list. Fuck you. You don't get to be walking around. You're an animal. You're a monster. I need to put you at, I need to keep everybody else safe here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was scary. Yeah, no, I felt the exact same way. And the reason why I say it's scary, please, understand, guys, is because, like, I don't know if you know this, Tristan, but, like, there's been some interesting stories on how there are some people that are on that registry but actually didn't hurt another human being.
Right.
Now, if you're wondering, if some people are like, wait, what? And maybe you might be wondering that as well. So I'm not going to say you personally. We're just going to make up a fake person. Bliston. No, I'm kidding. Making up a fake person.
I hate you.
Making up a fake person. It's not you. It's not me. It's, hypothetical person.
I was about
person.
to hang up on you immediately.
So funny. No, but I'm being serious here, though, right? So if there's so imagine there is you're in the city, and in this case, city we're thinking of as Manhattan, but it could be any city. You're in a populated, dense area, but it's like 3 a.m. Nobody's out. You just got out of a bar, and you're thinking, man, I got to use the bathroom. If you go into an alleyway, again, no one's in an alleyway at all. Not even a dude who just killed his ex-girlfriend's dad after a drinking binge. He's not even in an alleyway. Nobody's there. And you pee. You whip it out, assuming in this case you're a dude, although it could be a woman as well, and you pee.
Yeah.
If a cop finds you, obviously they're going to arrest you. No shit. But you could also be put on the sex offender registry for exposing yourself in public.
Right. Indecent exposure. Yeah.
Right. But it's not about, because the thing is, if someone was peeing near a school during the day, I'd be like, oh, yeah, no, of course, do that. What the fuck? Right? But if someone's doing that in like a dark alleyway at night, in the middle,
exposing yourself to anyone specifically, really. You were taking a leak. Granted, not where you should be, but.
Yeah, and that should be, and there should be some fines or something like that. But should you really be put on that registry? So in this case, I feel like it's another one of those situations where it's like, did he actually do something to be put on that registry? Yes, you could say, well, he, along with those other guys, did watch other people having sex, which technically should put him on that registry. Granted, I wish we would have seen something like that because I do think that would have been a lot more one-to-one because they didn't focus on that as much. So it put into the back of my mind rather than in the forefront because he didn't see her have sex with him. He saw murder. Dun, dun, dun. So, and of course, in that case, that's why the murder charges or the failure to report a murder came up, because it was like, by the way, just so you didn't really tell him that in there, but you didn't report a murder, jackass.
Right.
Which he didn't.
Yeah.
Which I do think that he should be in some kind of trouble for that, but I don't think that failing to report a murder puts him anywhere near the sex offender registry. So, like, how do you feel about him getting put on that list? And also, nowadays, you can look it up. Like, you can look up, like, your area. And by the way, don't do that, Tristan. You will be terrified by the amount of red dots. But
no, yeah, I've heard.
Yeah, he'd be like, my God, it's just a fucking, Jesus, a breeding ground. Holy shit.
Honestly,
but
honestly, with my town, I really wouldn't be surprised.
Horrible but accurate. Anyway, but seriously
horrible
though.
but accurate. Gotcha.
But seriously though, Tristan. My point though is that, you know, the fact you can, and by the way, nice touch that they made him a giant red walking blocked person.
Yeah. Ugh.
No, because it's that red dot mentality. Very interesting that they use that. But at the same time, though, it's just, you know, it's opening him up to attack. Which, look, yes, it's hard enough in any reality, not to be able to talk to anyone when it's like, dude, I want to buy a fucking loaf of bread. Like, holy shit.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But although assuming their future, you know. You could probably have some kind of food. You can order food 24/7. I'm sure you'd be fine. But what I'm saying is that it's just one of those things where now he's completely open to attack. And granted, if he actually hurt anybody, I wouldn't care as much. Because if you if he hurt a child and there was no ifs, ands, or but about it, it's the Death Note rule. Like, no matter what, they did it. Right? There's no in-betweens. No, they did it. I wouldn't feel so bad if he had that, you know, giant red dot all over him and he was he was on that list. But Tristan, with what he did during the actual special itself, how do you feel about that?
We're going down the rabbit hole again.
Yeah, right? I just don't know. I really don't know how to feel. I mean, we just talked about not knowing how to feel about the other dude, but how do we feel about this end for him? Like, should he have just, like, do you, cause personally, I'd be like, if I had to be on that list, I'd be like, how much jail time? Maybe a reduced sentence?
Right, yeah, for him, like, you still did bad things, but the amount that he got in the end, I don't know if that was the right course of action.
Yeah, it's rough because I really don't know where to go.
Right. I mean, that's also the idea of the show too. It's really to make you think about all those different things because it's the stuff that we don't think about.
I mean, like, I do not want to go to this future at all. I do not want to be a part of this future.
This was a warning, not a manual.
Basically, it's a cookbook. But no, so I feel like I would take jail time. Would you take jail time over? I don't know how much jail time, to be fair. I don't know how their crazy futuristic jails work, but I don't know. I feel like I'd rather take jail time.
Oh yeah, no, I'd take the jail time. Yeah, no, definitely.
I mean, granted, again, I don't know how long.
Right.
It feels like 25 years.
Better than that.
Well, I don't know. 25 years? He's already in his 40s from the looks of it. His 30s, maybe? I don't know. I don't know, because I feel like he could live.
Yeah.
Yes, he seems to have enough money that he could live on his own without ever needing to interact with another human being again. It's just maybe trying to get into your house before getting murdered.
Right.
I think might be the issue. But no, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. Yes, jail time would work better, but I don't know if I don't know how much jail time I would want, versus living with that. Also, if there's no way to get rid of it, then yeah, maybe fair. Like, if there's no way to get out on good behavior, then maybe I'd want the jail time.
Right.
Also, here's something interesting. Jesse Armstrong wrote the entire history of You. And then Charlie Brooker, who's the creator of the entire series, has written a bunch of different episodes. He wrote this one. So it's interesting that they both reused something that I found like was, questionable in both. But they're not say the same person. Clearly that's not Brooker is completely different than I want to get his name right again, Armstrong. Two different people. That's interesting.
Right.
No, it's just strange that they reused a similar plot point. I was wondering, I thought that it would be Brooker or be someone else. And by the way, Brooker so far has written. He wrote the first episode of season 1. He co-wrote the second episode of season 1, and then he didn't write episode 3. But of course, he wrote this as well, and he's also written some stuff. Actually, I think he wrote every episode in season 2. Damn.
Right.
Yeah, not going to go into anything after that, but yeah, still very interesting. Anyway, so anything you want to say about this before we wrap it up?
Life is suffering.
Life is suffering, and you
don't
think
look
this
in the
one?
mirror because all you see is.
Do you think this one is better than episode 2, or does that one still hold a special place in your sadness?
No, I think this one beats it out because this one I actually enjoyed watching.
No. That's a good point. Again, it's really hard to say the phrase "I enjoy watching Black Mirror." For me personally,
right? Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Like that's what I meant the last few times. It's like this show is very well written, and I love the concepts, and I love the message it's trying to describe. It's just it makes me want to die every time I watch it. This one was oh, don't worry, I still want to die, but it was actually I could watch it. It felt like it was watchable.
Yeah, no, there was something. Yeah, no, there's something about it that felt okay. Like it did, felt like it was again watchable. Is in the sense that it just there was obviously there were sad things in it, but there's something about certain episodes of Black Mirror thus far that we've talked about that have existential dread in them.
Right, and there was no relief from that at all. And I love existential dread. I live for it. But if I'm watching, in the end, we're still watching a TV show. The whole point is we kind of still want to get some kind of semblance of enjoyment out of it. So, you do have to have tension breaks now and again. And like I said, with those Easter eggs, that was just a little bit of tension break. And that wasn't even built into the story. That was just something that the show did, we can throw this in there, let's see if anybody gets it. That was enough for me my brain to pause for that split 0.5 second to be like, and then go back to existential dread.
Yeah, the tension breaking for me was the two of them having the actual conversation in front of the table. When they cut back to that, I think that's where things could, ease a bit. Although, again, there were certain moments where I was like, I don't like the way that John Hamm said that line, so I'm not too sure about this. But no, I think that, it's something about it worked better for us, but we're not sure. I'm not going to say that it's in terms of quality, it's the best episode. I mean, I do think that there were better episodes, but yes, I can understand your criteria though, completely.
Yeah, and I'd like to see what other people thought too. If you want to, if you're a real fan of Black Mirror, please tell me why I'm wrong. Please at me in the comment section.
I mean, no, there's a reason why we have the comment section because
please.
Yeah, no, all jokes aside, we really do want to hear what you guys have to say. So if you're listening to this through our YouTube channel, those guys on the radio, please tell us down below. We'd really love to hear what you guys think. And also remember, you can tell us that there were better episodes in Season 2. Again, we haven't covered, or technically you haven't watched it yet, Tristan. I have, but many years ago. So we haven't covered it yet. So that's the reason why you can be like, well, there's better ones than that one. It's like, yes, but we haven't covered it chronologically just yet. But either way, though, you can say there's better episodes in later seasons as well. I'm sure maybe one of those is one that Tristan saw, because I know Tristan has seen some ones that I haven't seen, because you watched those ones with a friend of yours, and those were clearly Season 3 or Season 4 episodes.
Yes.
Yes, because you hadn't watched the first season with them, right?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, they jumped to like new Black Mirror, and the way you
Yeah.
described it to me, you were like, "This is horrifying," and then like you see the first season, you're like, "This is tense but not scary."
Yeah,
right?
I
Was
mean,
that your
the others. No, the others were about the same. I think it was
Okay.
just maybe one of the, I don't know. Yeah.
One of them was scarier than the others, and that kind of changed your perception of Black Mirror. Okay.
True. Yes.
Yeah. That's what I'm just asking. Okay. But either way, though, we're going to wrap this up now. I hope that you had a great time listening to us ranting about this. Hopefully, if you're listening to this live, you've had a good, I was going to say 4th of July for some reason. You've had a good New Year's. If you're not listening to this live, I hope you're having a good whatever day you're listening to this. Thank you all so much. Remember that if you are listening to this through our Those Guys on the Radio YouTube channel, you could also listen to this in an audio format on the go, even download it, either going to iTunes and searching up Those Guys, or going over to our Blog Talk Radio, blogtalkradio.com/Those Guys on the Radio, and finding it there. Also, we have a bunch of different other YouTube channels as well that we consistently update throughout the years. We've been doing this for a while. We have Those Guys Play as well, a gaming channel that will either talk about different news topics or do different reviews or let's plays or other types of gaming content. And we have our TG Productions YouTube channel, which is kind of a hodgepodge. We do a bunch of different stuff on there, sometimes anime reviews that aren't in a podcasty format, or at least the way we do podcasts here. And we also do top 10 videos and other fun, different types of videos, dub-overs and stuff like that. Again, TG Productions. And also, if you want to support the channel at all, you can buy our T-shirts. There should be a link somewhere to get some of our T-shirts in the description box. Or you can
over
go over
here,
to Patreon.
or over there, or down here, or here.
Or inside
Somewhere
your soul. Oh, no, Black Mirror. No. Or what you
Don't
can do.
look in the mirror. That's where the links are.
That's what the links are. Or what you could do is you can go over to our Patreon, patreon.com/TG Productions, and depending on what tier you give to, you can help us out at any tier, of course, but depending on what tier you give to, you can get different things given back to you as well, different little rewards and things like that. And I won't go through all of them now. You can go over to our Patreon and read about what those are. Thank you all so much. Love you all. Take care. And tune in next time when we do another episode of TV Tuesdays. I don't think this one came out on a Tuesday, though. Although I don't remember what day. No, because New Year's Eve is a Monday, right?
Yeah.
New Year's Day is a Monday.
New Year's
Yeah?
Day is Tuesday. New Year's Day is Tuesday. New Year's Eve is Monday.
This was a twist. This did come out on TV Tuesday. Wow. Huh. It's a Black Mirror miracle.
No.
Tristan? No, okay, good. I was like, did that kill him? Is that what killed him?
He's
anyway,
gone.
Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Question: Is it good? Says Tristan Walter.